And we're live. It's your man Seko Varner at Seko Varner at Grandpa Crunk. I know that sounds kind of crazy. Grandpa Crunk, for those of us who love that crunk music. Crunk music ain't dead is the new song that's out. Grandpa Crunk is my production name. I do music production. Enjoy it. You'll enjoy it. Shalom, brother. Shalom. So tonight I want to chat about Bloomburg bouncing. And Bloomburg was actually one of the candidates that provided a black agenda with his Greenwood initiative. And it was flawed because his initiative, although it was going to help in the infrastructure with black businesses and black home ownership, which are both the response to addressing the wealth gap that exists in our lovely country, our beautiful country, our beloved country of the United States of America. The wealth gap was developed by government interference and government initiatives. And so this wasn't laziness. This wasn't simply discrimination. There were some government actions, Homestead Act, the original GI Bill, some of the other land grant programs that really, because, land is truly the basis for a lot of wealth. So the wealth gap that we have here in America is truly the result of things that happened with the United States government against people of African descent, commonly called black people. So Bloomberg was one of the first people, Bloomberg was one of the current candidates who actually had some level of a plan with his Greenwood initiative. Biden is not promising or pledging anything. Elizabeth Warren, and look, let me put this out there. I am not anti-Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm not either one. I'm just not either one. I'm just not either one. I'm very independent. Now, I did run, just to be full transparent, when I ran for the school board, I did align myself with the Democrat Party of Virginia Beach. But everyone knows that I'm pretty independent. So I'm not bashing the Democrats and I'm not pushing up the Republicans. I think both of them have work to do. So let me say this. Bloomberg leaving the race actually allows us to narrow our focus. So since our focus can be narrowed, we can definitely say that if we want to use the term ADOS, which is American descendant of slavery, or these are people, foundational black Americans who have ancestors who went through both chattel slavery in the United States of America and the Jim Crow period in the United States of America. And we're not demeaning any of our other brothers and sisters who went through colonization on the continent of Africa, or may have gone through enslavement in Mexico or Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Cuba, Haiti, the Antilles, Honduras. We're not downing any of that, but our point is here for the descendants, the lineage of people who have ancestors who went through both the enslavement period in the United States of America and the Jim Crow era. Those are people that are considered foundational black Americans, or ADOS. So I just wanted to give that little bit of foundation as I continue talking. So reparations is part of a larger agenda. And some of that agenda includes all people who might be considered commonly called black, people of African descent. And I need to say this. This conversation isn't for everybody. So our brothers and sisters and others who don't consider themselves black or part of the African diaspora, this conversation really isn't for you. We love you, and we'll be working with you as well. We love you. But my point is, I wanted to make sure that we had a foundation for ADOS and for understanding the term foundational black Americans, and for understanding that Bloomberg bouncing allows us to focus in with our agenda. Now, there's a couple of agendas that are out there. So you have the ADOS agenda, which I'm highlighting tonight. On Sunday, I'm going to do a live with T. West. He has a 21-point agenda, 21-point political agenda for African Americans. It's definitely worth looking after. If you go on YouTube, you can find Afro Synergy, and you can get his 21-point plan. And in June, the Foundational Black American Conference that Tariq Nasheed and Jason Black and Judge Joe Brown and some of the other people putting together, is going to end with a laid out agenda. Oh, peace, Sister Janice. Reparations now. We've been working on reparations since the end of the enslavement period. Now, what's interesting, and I'm responding to Sister Beeman's message about reparations now, which populated on the chat. You know, the United States government provided white Americans who lost enslaved individuals when slavery ended with reparations. Yes, America paid white people when slavery ended because they lost workers. They lost enslaved people. They received reparations. Our white brothers and sisters generations ago received reparations for the ending of enslavement of African people. That happened. The LGBTQ organizations and have really pushed and done a great job, and now they're working on getting reparations because they have not been able to pass down materials, property, and other valuables because until recently they weren't able to legally get married in the United States of America. That's happening now. Native American, our ancestors, our family who are a part of the indigenous, or not necessarily indigenous, that's a bad word to really use to describe them, but Native American, they have received forms of reparations already. The Japanese have received forms of reparation. Japanese Americans have received forms of reparation. Our Jewish brothers and sisters, the European Jewish brothers and sisters here in the United States of America have received forms of reparations for atrocities that happened to them. And it didn't happen on the United States of America. It didn't happen in our beloved country, but they have received forms of reparations. So our agenda is not simply on reparations, but it includes reparations. And so now with Bloomberg dropping out, we can start really focusing on how we're going to either push Bernie for the Bernie bros or for Biden for the Biden boomers, you know, or if Warren pops up and wins for the Warren winners, you know, how we can push our agenda onto these politicians. Because here's the deal. Our ancestors fought for the right of liberation, for freedom, justice, and equality under an American system. Voting was one of those rights. They didn't die just for the right to vote. So, you know, we keep lying to people about that. They died for bigger than the right to vote. But the right to vote is simply just a right. And once you have the right to vote, you move up to the next level. You become an informed voter. Then you move to the third level. You become a person who connects and collects their votes together to form a voting block. And then you move to the next level where you say, these are our demands. And we stand ready to withhold our block of votes if you don't meet our demands. That's where we're moving to now. That's the empowerment voting process that we're moving to now. Be one, Black first. And once again, this message is not for everybody. This message is for those people of African descent that I love. And everyone else, we love you too. You don't necessarily don't have a dog in this fight. You know, I've had one of my Caucasian friends say to me, I don't think I should pay for slavery because I didn't have slaves. I don't have slaves now. And I said, the American government owes Black Americans, African Americans, Americans of African descent, reparations. The American government. We're not going after you, Tommy. We're going after the American government because they owe a debt. So we have to push the agenda. So get informed. Learn about the ADOS Black agenda. Learn about the Black agenda, the Black American agenda that came out in the 1970s. Learn about the Foundational Black America Conference and look up T. West of Afro Synergy News. It's on YouTube, and look at his 21-point plan. Become informed. We need you in our movement. Now, here's the deal. We don't need everybody. We don't need everybody. If we just 10 to 15%, we can move the needle. Like, for instance, I have family members that I love, but I know they're just anybody but Trump. And I have some family members, nobody but Trump. I'm not going to even deal with them. But if you want to work on empowerment, this is going to be a 10-year process. Join us. Become involved, become informed. Let's rock and roll, all right? So, till the next time, get on code.